So now that we've created our 3 functions, the next step is trying to use these in our client-side page. So in step 4 here in Blackboard, fork this code pen, which I've already done here. And we're going to try to get the JSON data involved with get pull results and hook it up so that our chart reflects that data. So the first thing that I noticed when I looked at the documentation for getting started is that you need this script tag here. So copy that and then paste it in our code pen. That's step 1. This next step is I'm just going to fast forward by just saying, okay, I read all the documentation for how to insert a document, how to insert a record, how to insert or how to drop the table, how to vote or basically insert one document, and I came up with a nice little object right here called db.text. So if you open that up and copy that whole thing, put it in the bottom of your code pen, and now you just have to fill in these parameters here. So for this one, it has to be your poll app ID, which comes from here. So click that to copy, and then paste it here. And then now I have to figure out what did I name my get poll. Right, I called it get underscore poll underscore results. So you can see it's they use a very nice, simple API where you're not doing an explicit fetch here to get results. You're just using their functionality, but I bet you under the hood they're using some kind of fetch or XHR to get the JSON. So the next one is I need, what's my function for voting? It's voting. So let's put that in here. So we're calling the function voting, and we're passing in A, B, C, or D. Finally, the drop was, I believe, reset. Okay, so we can test that. By the way, the nice thing about this is, let's say in the future you decide to change from MongoDB to a totally different DB, which has maybe a different API. That all you'd have to do is change this code inside these functions, but these functions would never have to change. Like, you'd still say db.init, db.getPoll, db.vote, and db.drop. And so the code, the remainder of the code would still never change. It's just that the implementation would change, but it's just a nice abstraction, which is one benefit of using it like this. So let's see if this works. Now, I believe if I say db.init and then db.getPoll, I think it's an empty object that I should get back. Oh, hold on. GetPoll, I should really say console.log result. Now let's try it. Oh, I have one record there for A1. Okay, so now if I say db.vote and pass in like a different letter, D, and then say db.getPoll again, oh, and that's just running a couple times, isn't it? I think I accidentally created an errant entry, but you can see here it's actually working here. So let's go back to our clients. No, go back to our Stitch apps. I'm going to delete that errant one. Was it clusters? Yeah, and then collections. And then, where was that weird one? Yeah, this one here. Just get rid of that one. So we have A, D, and D. Great. So the code is working, which is kind of neat, right? So you're just calling client-side these functions that you made from on another company's server, and it's running, right? You don't have to maintain that server, and that's the great part about the whole serverless architecture, is that you don't have to maintain this node server, and this company just takes care of the scaling for you and the maintenance, so that's all good. All right, so let's try to use maybe Vue to make it easier. on ourselves, and where did it go now? So let's include the view library as well. And then, so instead of all of this dbnet stuff, let's just say new view. Okay, so what do we want to do? Maybe we need to make this array come from our get poll. So instead of these hard-coded data, we'll just say all zeros for now. So it should be starting point empty. And then what we want to do is get in the created function lifecycle, we want to get the results, which basically gives me the results in object format. Destructure the A, B, C, and D, put that in an array, and insert that array into here, and then update the chart. So we'll see how that works out. EL app, where is our app? Is it here? It's not even here. I'll just create one. Now, one thing I noticed is that if I put this inside here, it's not going to work. And this, so for now, let's just leave it. Let's leave the canvas separate from the view. Later on, for bonus marks, you can use a view component that I provided Blackboard to see if you can include this canvas inside your assignment number 2. Okay, so first thing is in our created, which is going to be just an async function. Let's see, we want to say db.init, right? And then after that, I'll just delete that. And then after that, we want to say const result equals await db.get poll. And then let's just console log the result. There it is. Okay. So how do I grab A and D and turn it into an array that looks like this, where A, B, C, and D are there? And I think we need to destructure. So just as a reminder, destructuring objects, object destructuring. So if we're given something like this, we can say something like this to get the P and Q, and then we can work with those. So let's try this. If I say, now that result is this object, what if I say const A, B, C, D equals result? Can I now say console log A, B, C, D? Aha, I can, and it is going to the right area, the right spot. So that means I can now just create an array like this, A, B, C, D, and then now I can assign that array if I can find the function name to. Okay, so basically I have to go to my chart dot type, no, my chart dot data dot data sets 0 dot data equals that. Let's see what happens. My chart dot, oh man, dot data dot data sets 0 dot data equals that. And then based on the documentation, you just call update and it should automatically update. Haha, it's working. Wonderful. Let's just try something here. What if we were to go here and include another one, like just say vote as C, insert, and then come back here and Save and then refresh. We should see, there we go. Great, so this is working now. This is only fetching it once, and I want it to keep on fetching like every 1 or 2 seconds kind of thing. So maybe in our view, what I should do is I'll create like a methods, and I'll say get results function, and that will essentially do all of this. So I'm going to cut this out, paste it in here. Now in here, when it's initializing, I'll say this got get results, so it runs it once, but then I'm going to use set interval, and set interval, as a reminder, will run whatever is inside this function for every 1000 milliseconds, for example. I'll just make it 2 seconds. So what do we want? What do we want to run in here? We want to run get results. So let's say this .get results. Yeah, so I think that should work. I think. And I did use an arrow function here because the word this has to be the same context as this one. Whereas if I use the regular function, this word this would be would be attached to the window. Okay, let's see. Is it not displaying anything? Why is it not displaying anything? Inspect console. Await is only valid in an async function, of course. So here you should say async. And every 2 seconds it should update. So that means if I go back here and insert one for B, within 2 seconds the other CodePen should update. Oh, there it is. Perfect. And one thing I do want to slightly change is that if there is 0 results for B and C, then the results will be undefined, as you saw up top somewhere here. And what we can do is we can provide a default value when you're destructuring here. So you can, as you're destructuring, you can say a default value equals 0 for all of them, for example. So here we can just say equals 0. Whoops. Equals 0. Let me just copy that and paste it for all of these. So if it is undefined, then the value will be 0, which is nice.